Hey gamer, today we're going to cover one of the most popular flicks in the game, the Musty flick. This flick was popularized by Musty and originally was not seen as anything special. Many people at the time thought it was a waste of time, but as the game developed, more people figured out ways to land the Musty both on the ground and in the air. For the Musty flick on the ground, I'm gonna give it an E tier. Now, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing move, and once you have it down, it's a brilliant technique. But the thing is, it can take a long time for players to get good at the move, and I personally feel that the Jezza flick from last week's episode is easy to learn and pull off in game. Also, remember that this is just from the ground. So let's look at the two types of Musty flick. We've got the standard and the backflip. And first is the standard Musty flick. With this version of the flick, we're gonna look to dip forward and then backflip, but of course there is more to it than that. First, let's talk about ball placement. With this flick, we want the ball between the front edge and the windscreen, in that central position between the two. We also want the ball smack bang on the center line for the greatest effect. Although it can be performed with the ball being slightly off to the side, the center line is what's going to give it the crazy power. Now, the reason we like the ball far forward with this technique is that we don't want to hit the ball too far away on the initial lean forward of the car. So once we have the ball settled in that position, we jump, lean forward, and here's the trick. We need to lean so that our nose begins to point in the opposite direction, even if it's a millimeter. By doing that, when we backflip, it will push our car forward similar to the front flip. From there, do a backflip and your car should hit the ball. Now, some tips for this is to hold down the jump button on the first jump. This will give you more time to rotate under. And the other thing is, do not boost through this move, as you will essentially be boosting into the floor. You can boost, but if you are going to boost, make sure you're doing it after you've executed the flick to try and push yourself forward if you need to get under the ball more. So get the ball near the front of your car on the center line, match the ball speed, hold jump, turn your car just past the way you are traveling, and then do a backflip. Next, we move into the wraparound or the back rotation Musty, whatever you want to call it. It's a great move. Now, people find this easier, but personally I find it much harder. So maybe I'm a little bit of an outlier on this one. So I had to get one of the big dogs in. I had to bring in Ark. You probably know Ark. He was in the episode we did with 2 SSLs versus 4 Grand Champs, and he also competed in Rocket League Pokemon. If you haven't seen those, check them out. Links are down below, and also they should pop up in the top corner right now. Ark is an absolute beast, and his links are also down below in the description. And hopefully he will be featured again in the next video, which is the Breezy flick. So let's talk about ball placement. The ball wants to be deep in the windscreen, or even slightly further back. This way, when you jump, it gets good lift. And speaking of jump, you want to hold the jump button as long as possible and then pull back on the controller. And then if you need to, you can boost backwards a little bit to give yourself space, then do a backflip. Now, this is really, really important. Do not boost until you are starting to face away from the ball. Otherwise, you will lift yourself above the ball and you'll actually push yourself further into it, so you won't be able to get under the ball to get lift when we do the rotation. So common mistakes are having the ball too far forward. You want it further back than the standard Musty. Another common mistake is not holding jump, just tapping it, preventing the lift we have, which can put us too far away from the ball. It might pop away from us. The third common mistake is boosting too soon. If you have the ball and you jump and you start to boost, you will push your car forward ahead of the ball. A great way to practice this is to go into free play and slow down right by the ball, then boost to get impact on the ball, and then continue to boost as you pull back and lift your car to hit the ball again, and then rotate around and do the Musty. Now, the carryover for this won't be direct, it'll be indirect. It will get you used to pulling down, along with understanding when to pull the trigger, and it is also great for learning the delayed version. Oh yes, there is a delayed version. To do the delayed version, do everything the same, but as soon as you activate the flick, pull up, just like reverse half flip, but only put it for a second, and then let go, and boom, off it'll travel. So there it is. Hopefully that made sense. Thank you so much for support. I really do appreciate it, and a big shout out for Ark for helping out and teaching me to do the Musty. Literally the other day, I could do them very rarely, and now I'm hitting them consistently, even at 122 plus kilometers an hour. Unbelievable. Thanks to that guy. Big thank you. Look after yourselves. Have a nice life, and peace out. Peace.